You're listening to the Chronicles of Living podcast, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. Now let's talk.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop on the road of life. You can't stop. You can't stop moving. Keep move. Keep that pace. You switching to gear. Let's go as we climb up the hill. Don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working. It's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady. Don't watch the clock go round.
Greetings, my visionary dreamers. How is everybody on Let's Talk Sunday? This is ADionne, your dream pusher and lifeguard. I'll be right back.
Life is a cycle. We are learning, always turning. Later, cannot stop the time. Always merging into lanes that better suit us as we ride. Switch it up. Switching to gear, let's go. As we climb up the hill, don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working, it's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady, don't watch the clock go round.
As I said, this is ADionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, from some real bullshit. And you are listening to Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know, it's extraordinary folk doing the damn thing the best way we can. And I just want to welcome any new listeners out there. Thank you for tuning in to the show. This show is really just real talk, real stuff, real life situations. That's what I talk about on the show. And it's all just to help us all become the best versions of ourselves, including me. So these topics are not just for me to talk to y'all. It's for me to remember, to remind myself as well. And because I just speak through my spirit, sometimes I listen back to the show, not sometimes, all the time. I listen back to the show and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Dang, I said that? I don't remember. But yeah, that's what this show is all about. And so today's topic is accept where you are to get to where you want to be. Guys, we got to accept our current position in order to get to where we want to be, regardless if you're happy with your current situation or not. The bottom line is this: life is ever moving, is ever changing. Things are ever changing. People around you are ever changing. And I hope that you are ever changing. That you're changing day by day in some type of way, in a positive aspect. That you check yourself, that you check in with yourself from day to day and ask yourself, is this something that I will be proud of myself down the line? Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is, or how you are treating people. Those are the things that we can do in order to make sure that we are growing. We're getting better and better day by day. You know, I wanted to read, the definition of accept. Every now and then I work at reading the definition because we say these words and sometimes we kind of forget some of the meanings. So accept is consent to receive, a thing, an offer. That's what accept mean. Receive, to welcome, to take, to get, to gain, to obtain, to acquire, to believe and to trust, and to give credit and put confidence in and convince yourself of, to have faith in, to count on, to rely on, and to depend on. So with all that being said, when you look at your current situation, if you are happy, kudos, because like I said, life changes day by day, and it's full of so many ups and downs. Even the richest of the rich, the wealthiest people in Hollywood, celebrities, it's just the fact that we can literally see their ups and downs, but they can't see ours. We could see their ups and downs, and it's unfortunate that sometimes when celebrities fall down, meaning like status-wise, people start to talk about them in a negative sense, not thinking about their own lives, not thinking that at some point you can have a fall. How would you want people to respond to your fall? Would you want the support of people, of loved ones, or would you want people to talk down about you? These are the things we need to examine about ourselves, because it's a lot of that going on. Like, I watch YouTube videos because of information I like to learn, but every now and then I have certain random videos come across my queue that's basically badgering people, and I'm just not with that. I've had people badger me, and I work hard at just treating people as I would like to be treated. Let's say that. Some people is never enough. And I have come to that conclusion in my life. It took me a very long time to come to that conclusion, because I'm a person that likes to put a smile on people's faces. I like to share my knowledge, my wisdom. I like to help people. And therefore, it took me a long time to break free of that, and all the way up to now, really, cutting cords one by one to realize that some people, it's just never going to be enough, no matter what you do and how you treat them and how much love you or caring you want to give them. Some people are just not open and receptive to receive that, So you have to accept if you're at a point in your life that is not working out. You have reached a certain age and you wanted to achieve certain things by a certain age. I think we all do. I think we all, well, I'm not going to say that, because sometimes I ask people what they want to be, and it could be older people, and they be like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Younger kids or teenagers, I don't know. So to those who figure out some goals, outside of just going for a job to make money, but actually going for a career or occupation that you like, and then make money from that, or a career that you dream about and make money from that, or following your passion and grinding it out until the money comes to you. Whichever way it goes, we have to learn how to get out of our head, because as long as you're doing things from a right heart, from a right mindset, it's going to unfold for you in this time, space, reality in some type of way. Now, when I say that, you think about maybe our ancestors that worked hard at gaining certain things and setting things up for the next generation. If you go way back, some of our ancestors, they weren't in control of their life, of, the way they were able to live their life, but they were working towards setting a tone for the next generation, So they had to accept where they were at that time, because those who didn't try to break free, they had to accept it. And they had to make it work the best they could. They had to still, okay, we're a family, as much as a family as they could be, and be happy with that. Learn how to love each other through those times. And so when we sit up here and we get down on ourselves, if we can just start remembering where we came from, how far we came, how much footwork our ancestors put in for us, regardless of your background, your ethnic background, regardless of that, when you look back, it's still a long way. No matter what your color, your ethnic background is, we have come a long way. When you think about the fact that we have technology now, we didn't have that back then. I didn't have it back. I had a typewriter. I had a wall phone. We didn't have cell phones when I was a teenager. So we have come a long way. So if we start reflecting and looking back as to things that have came along the way and how the world has evolved, then I think that, I'm going to say I think for some, but I believe when you start looking at that, then you'll know how to look at your own life and start appreciating the little steps that you have taken along the way, the growth that you have made along the way, even if you don't feel as though you are where you want to be at this time in your life. Learn how to look at your past and appreciate the growth spurts that you've had along the way. Even if you had to keep taking a step back, sometimes taking a step back is healthy for us, because sometimes when we take a step back, we can map our future out a little bit better because we've been there before. So now we can look at things from a different angle because we've grown a little bit. So when I say take a step back, like say if you had it all, like you had a great job, a nice car, a house, beautiful house, and a family. Now, I'm not trying to put this energy out there, but I'm just giving y'all a perfect example. So say life was perfect. And then all of a sudden, I can't even talk today. All of a sudden, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm tongue-tied. Last week and this week, oh gosh, the moon energy. That's another day. That you just, something happened as far as your family. Maybe you lost that big job. Maybe the job moved overseas, which happens a lot. As a matter of fact, I talked to someone that happened to, and they were in this job for like years. I think like maybe 30 years, and then their department just shut down. And so that was all they knew. And they were like this exact, and they was making all of this money, and that was all they knew how to do. And so therefore, they had to go back. They had to take a step backwards. They had to really, really take a job that was so below their normal pay grade. It was like starting all over again. And so I'm sure for that person, it was a time of confusion, probably anger, depression, all kinds of stuff mixed all up because it wasn't expected. But when you take that same situation and you can look at, you look at it from this angle, I was this big exec at one time, and I didn't just land that position ASAP. I worked towards that position. And that's how I gained that position. So therefore, if I did it once, I can do it again. I just need to take the time to map out my strengths and my weaknesses and focus on my strengths. And that's how I can determine where I need to work towards. so that I can get back to where I want to be, or so that I can get to where I want to be. You see what I'm saying? You know, people think it's the end of the world when you got to take a step back, but it's not. It's just a time for you to reflect and look at some things within you that you obviously did not see. You didn't have a chance to see because life was so great. Life was moving so fast. So when life is moving so fast and life is so great and it's going so good for you, you can miss a lot of important things about yourself. You can miss the things about yourself that you can improve on. You can miss the things about yourself that you have to offer. You can miss the hidden talents and gifts that you have because you're so focused on the now that you're in. You're so focused on, the good life that you're living, so you suppress all of those beautiful talents and gifts that God has instilled in you, but you have never activated because you're only working on this one gift when you probably have 4 more to offer to the world before you leave here. You get what I'm saying? See, we look at downfalls as something negative when it's not. It's really not. And I had to take some years to learn that for myself, because if you've been following this show, you know I've had a whole lot of ups and downs in my life. And I had to work through that. I had to work through the fact that, okay, I have a lot to give. I've learned a lot. I have taken a time out to teach myself a lot because I didn't finish college. And so why is it that I'm not where I want to be at this current time in my life? And when I started really looking, I realized that if I would have made it at a certain aspect, I wouldn't have learned, like I said, the other gifts and talents that I have to offer people, that I have to offer the world, because that's why we're here. We're all here to offer something, some type of service. And it doesn't have to be like a big service worldwide. It can be just a service to your family. You might be the one in the family that keeps your family together. And that's your strength. That's your gift. That's your talent. You're the peacemaker out the family. You're the go-to person that everybody finds peace in when they're going through something. That's big, Or you might be that person that knows how to go to a company that's falling apart and just all of a sudden, just because you came along, you make that company pop. You make the company just soar and take off, where they were in stagnation for like 10 years. You get what I'm saying? But if you don't have moments of going backwards, so that you have the chance to go inward, so that you have a chance to examine who you are and your life and reflect on what you have to give, instead of focusing on what is not going right. As I've talked about in a couple of my shows, a lot of times we get stuck in that. We get stuck in the fact that we don't have what we want to have, or we are not where we want to be at the current time. We get stuck in that. But see, when you focus on what is not, you're going to get more of what is not. It's the law of attraction. When you turn your focus and you say, okay, I had this moment, I realized that stuff didn't happen, or the way I planned it out, things didn't flow the way I wanted it to flow. So let me sit down and figure out, what is it that I can do to maybe detour the situation so that it can flow the way I want it to flow. What is it that I can change about me, or about the way I'm doing things, the way I approach things, my attitude? about the situation? What is it that I can do? Because we are in control of our actions. We are in control of our reactions to a situation, to a person. So therefore, because we have that control, that's huge. That means that we can determine the next steps in our lives to a degree. So perfect example, this past week, and that's maybe why God put this this topic on my spirit. I can't talk too much about it, but I'll say a little bit. So this past week, I was supposed to start an opportunity, a job opportunity. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go for more contracts, but I want to have something that's like part-time to make some money from, so I can have some consistency there, because I want to buy another house next year. So I go, and the good thing is I had these interviews, and basically I landed majority of the jobs. They hired me. But I chose this one because I felt like it was going to be flexible. And I kind of knew the person. So, long story short, the very day I was supposed to start, I had a car accident right outside the job. Right outside. I was getting ready to turn in, and somebody ran right into the back of the car. Like, I was just sitting there, turn signal on, and on the opposite side, there was a funeral line coming. So, you know, you're not supposed to break the funeral line. But this was a main street. So, the person, and it wasn't traffic time, the person that was coming, I was sitting there for a while. They just wasn't paying attention, which he did admit. He wasn't paying attention. But, you know, through that, I can't talk too much about it, because I got a lawyer. Y'all know how that go. But I must say, I was pretty banged up. Or am. But through that, I wound up, I'm not going to say losing that opportunity, but because I had to take care of so much business, the person that hired me felt like they didn't want to wait for the next week to start. And I was like, that's fine. You know, I got to handle my business. You have to handle yours. Perfect. I wasn't upset, because for one, what that showed me was that wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to do that. I was just supposed to stay where I was in my mindset and the things that I mapped out, and finish up with my other contracts that I wanted to do. And not think that I needed that little income, because it really wasn't big. But not feel like I needed that. And it was just like, God just allowed everything to shut down. Because now I got to wait for the rental car next week. And then on top of that, even to try to make little extra money on the side, I can't Uber. It's like little stuff like that. But I'm good, because thank God I have some checks coming in. But this weekend, sitting here thinking about everything, I really started viewing where it is that I'm supposed to be going in a whole different light. It's like, I was talking to my son earlier, and he was like, oh my gosh, Mom, you sound so good. I was like, I know, like, I just have, like, even though I'm achy and stuff like that, I just have this certain burst of energy far as my mindset. It's just like, oh my gosh, like, thank you, God, for allowing that to happen. Yes, I'm upset about my car. I'm upset about the whole situation. But like I said, I had to sit back and look at it from a different angle and say, okay, you really didn't want me to do that. You know, if you've been following the show, then you know that I hold different licenses. So I'm pretty flexible as to how I make my income. And it was just like, God was like, why? What do you need that for? You don't. Just believe. I need you to believe more in yourself because doors are opening for you. And they are. I've had a couple of opportunities offered to me that I'm having meetings about next week. So I'm like, wow. It's just that now I can take the time to really get up on certain things that I've had written down, but I've been so busy that I haven't been able to focus on them. So it's like I have this energy now that I really, really want to focus on these things. And I'm going to. That's all I did this whole weekend is just meditate, stay in the house, meditate, rest my body, rest my mind, write stuff out. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited about what's coming my way and what it is that I'm setting out to do, even though I have some things that I have to maneuver around. So when we get to that point in our lives that we can look at things that don't go as planned and find the blessing in them, that's when you know you're growing. That's when you know that you are accepting where you are now to get to where you're going. I mean, if I can just pour this energy out through into your ears right now, maybe it is going maybe you feel it as I'm talking, but I just can't explain the feeling that I have. I don't know if it's all the deep meditation I've done throughout. Well, I think it's a combination. All the deep meditation I've done throughout this weekend, working with my crystals. If you don't know, I have crystals and stones, and they carry different energy, and I just feel good. I'm sorry I'm rambling, but I do. I just feel so good, y'all. I can't explain it, okay? So I just say all that to say, when you get to that level, when you release a lot of habits that's unbeneficial to you, people that's unbeneficial to you, when you decide that, you know what, my life is not what I want it to be right now, but I am happy with the things that I did accomplish out my life thus far. And it could be small things. It doesn't have to be huge things. And this is the problem. We focus on, oh, but I haven't done much, or I haven't. No, even something as a job that you worked. Like I was telling one kid one time when I was Ubering, and they were complaining about the job and how they're overworking him and how he has to do stuff that the manager does and he knows all the things. I said, why are you complaining? Do you not realize that God is preparing you for a management position? You know everything. So therefore, how about, because he worked for a franchise, a fast food franchise. And I said, do you realize that you can purchase your own franchise? You know all the ins and outs. You might not be making the money now, but if you choose to, because you have the knowledge and it was just given to you because they so-called thought they was overworking you, and because other people were calling out and you had to take on their shifts and things of that nature, that means that you have leveled up on your work ethic. That means that you know how to multitask. You know how to work under pressure. These are the things that a manager does. They have to know how to do. And you're young. So you need to look at it in that point of view. Guys, we got to start looking at life and at different angles. We have to start finding the good out of what we think is the stress, out of what we think is horrible, is bad. There is something good out of everything that's bad. And I know you can say, well, ADionne, if I was abused or if I Well, you have people that's been abused that go back and reach back and help other people that's being abused. Maybe that's your calling, as unfortunate as it is, but maybe that's your calling. That's the service that you came here to do in this time, space, reality, is to help out people that are in abusive relationships, help out people that's going through, because you know the mindset that you were in when you were being abused, that you devalued yourself that much to take that abuse, or that you were in that much fear that you felt like you couldn't leave that abuse. And you kind of know the mindset of the abuser in a sense. So therefore now you have counselor credentials. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to start looking at things in a different light, guys. We are all here to do something powerful. Even if you are a mother and you have a bunch of kids and you feel like, wow, I want to do this, I want to learn that, I want to be a singer, I want to be a dancer, but I have a lot of kids that need my attention. Why don't you teach your kids how to sing? Why don't you teach your kids how to dance? Why don't you volunteer at a daycare that maybe your kids can go to for free, maybe, or a discounted price, and be the dance instructor, be the singing teacher? There are ways we can still do what it is that we want to do in our current state. We just have to figure out how is it that we can navigate it. But when you think with a clear head and you don't focus on what it is that you don't like about your life, then you can be open and receptive to attract more of what you do want in your life. That is the way it goes. And yes, it's taken me years to learn this, taking me years to figure this out. This is not something that I'm just a professional at. I'm still learning and growing as well. But I like to share these things with you guys because I know life is real. Life is real, and we're going to go through our ups and downs, and we're not going to always come across people physically that can relate to what we're going through, or that can be that person that might can say something positive or give us some type of encouragement or motivation to let us know that everything is working out the way it's supposed to. Everything is going to work out for my benefit. Everything is going to work out for my benefit. And this is what we need to say to ourselves. This is what I say to myself. Everything is working out to my benefit. That's an affirmation. As I say, you need to get in the mirror and you need to say the opposite of what you're going through. You need to convince yourself, accept, convince yourself, trust, believe in yourself. Because you got this. You can do this. You do have the power to do what it is that you want to do. You might have to, like I say all the time, your surroundings is everything. The people you are surrounded with is everything. The people you're friends with, the people you talk to on the phone, the people that you connect with online, the things that you watch on TV, the things that you listen to on the radio or on your iPod or whatever, your cell phone. All of these things take effect within your spirit. All of these things just go straight into your subconscious and start sending out messages later on and telling you negative things if that's what you're doing. If you're watching negative shows, the reality shows where they're always fighting and all of this and cussing each other out, eventually you're going to take on a little bit of that spirit. You are. I don't care how good of a person that you are. I guarantee you, if you are a person that watch a bunch of reality shows, the catty ones that always have a bunch of fighting and cursing, I mean, I curse, but, going back and forth at each other's neck, examine your life when you finish listening to this podcast show and think of a time that you might have been, the last time you've been in an argument with someone. I guarantee you that was something that might not have happened or you could have avoided. But because the energy of you watching, you're taking on from watching this show from week to week, now it's turning you into somebody different. The music that you're listening to that's talking about drugs and popping pills and all of this stuff constantly, is all this, or just always having sex and all of this stuff constantly, I guarantee you that your urges are stronger for those things. I'm telling y'all, I know, because I know how different my life is since I've pulled away from a lot of things. I see the difference. I can look back at my past and look at where I am now, my frame of mind, how I think, how I move, how I, forgive people, how I let go of things, my attitude, my reactions to people, to things. And it's so different. It's so different. Before, what? Say something to me. Just leapfrog, leap. This is who I was years and years ago. I mean, my temper was different. I was always a kind person. I was always nice, but I didn't have the patience that I have now. No, not at all. No. My patience was very thin. It was more than probably the average, but what I'm saying is it's still, I would get stressed out about stuff. I would worry more. It's just so, I'm just such a different person now. And I know why. So it is true. The things you do, the people you're around, the things you watch, the things you listen to, they all contribute to who you are. They all contribute to who you will become. So start examining yourself, guys, and accept where you are to get to where you want to be. Start welcoming change. Start welcoming different ways to doing things. Stop thinking that your way is the only way, especially if it's not working out. There are other ways, other avenues that you can go down to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. There are people in your life, maybe, if they're not in your life, there is, again, YouTube, there is Google, there is the internet that you can find the right person to learn from, that you feel like energetically, spirit-wise, you connect to. Because there are a ton of people on YouTube, but I don't connect with everybody to learn the things that I learn. I just keep watching and watching until I connect to someone, and then that's who I subscribe to, and then I start learning from them. That's how I do. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. I hope that you got a lot out of the show. I don't know why I'm so tongue-tied. It's been like this for a week, but I do know the cycles and the energy of the moon does have an effect on us. That's a different show, different day. Some of the things I'm studying now. So I'm going to go now. And like I said, share the show. I thank you guys. Thank you for supporting the books, Visionary Dreamer, 90-Day Journal, and Transform Your Life, the Visionary Dreamer Workbook. You can buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. And most of the time I put the links down afterwards under the show. So Definitely. Thank you for all your support, guys. I love, love, love y'all. This is ADionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, from some real bullshit. And you are listening to Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know, it's extraordinary folk doing a damn thing the best way we can. Yes, in peace, love, and hair grease. Thank you for listening to Chronicles of Living, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. And if you are pursuing your dreams, I'm proud of you. Because the best part of life is when you decide to live. To keep up with us, please visit chroniclesofliving.com. Until next time, this is ADionne, your dream pusher. I love you guys.